The Boogeyman, issue number 1 from Ablaze. So this series kind of snuck up on me. So every week I always go to leagueofcomicgeeks.com and I just try to see like what comics are coming out this week. And if I see like a cover or a title or just anything that kind of grabs my attention, I look at the previews and kind of read it to see what it's about. And this one, the cover at first is what got my attention. I really like the artwork here. The coloring is cool. And the Boogeyman. So I thought, okay, this is going to be some kind of horror, some kind of supernatural. It looks kind of interesting. I read more about it. It looked interesting. I picked it up. And yeah, it's good. The Boogeyman starts off with our main character. His name is Elliott. He's a small boy. And he's drawing. And it looks like he's having some kind of therapy session. And this therapist looks at the drawing. She's like, can I borrow one of these comics for a few minutes, one of these, pages for a few minutes. I'll be back. And she goes into another room where we see that the whole session is being video recorded. And she brings the papers in, and all the pictures are like of monsters. And one of the people there is a cop. And he's basically saying how like a trial is coming up, and this kid's the only witness. And we need him to start talking. We need him to tell us what went down. And so they go into the room with the boy, and they ask him, like, can you tell me about what happened that night, about the monsters? And he says, I can't. And ask him, is it because you're afraid? Because it's normal to be afraid. It's okay. And he's like, no, it's not that. I just can't remember anything. And he says that as there's a giant demonic-looking bear standing behind the therapist and the cop. And then he says that he was lying. And we get like a flashback of a month earlier of what happened. And before I get into that, I will say that I have one nitpick about this. And that's because this boy is telling the story, we have narrative boxes of him explaining things. But he talks as someone who's way too old for his age. Like he says, the memories get a bit mixed up, but it's all there, permanently etched into my mind. And I'm like, this is a 6, 7, maybe 8-year-old? No 8-year-old talks like that. No 8-year-old has any idea what the hell etched means. They're not going to say, permanently etched into my mind. Later on, he says, sometimes it's like I never left the room. The almost inaudible sound inside the walls. The cold parquet beneath my feet. Again, children do not talk like this. And so that's my biggest nitpick with this series, is that the child talks way too old for his age. Well, not talks, but he thinks. Because when he actually talks, like when we actually get dialogue from him, he sounds like a kid. But when we get like text from his thoughts, yeah, he talks like an adult. So that kind of threw me off. It was just weird, especially since it'll make one thing if this is like a adult telling his story about what happened when he was a child, but it's not. This is a child telling his story about what happened literally a month ago. But yeah, we get the story. Basically, he's in his room and he's reading a book on Boogeyman, and his dad comes in and tells him, like, I told you to go to bed early. What are you reading? Another book on Boogeyman stories. Like, how many times do I have to tell you that the Boogeyman's not real? And Elliott is like, they exist, I swear. There's one living in our basement. There's a dog that walks around in the walls. You can hear it at night if you listen. And I can even prove it to you. See, like all the toys that I keep under my bed, I keep finding them in the basement because the Boogeyman is taking them. And of course, the dad doesn't believe him. And then we have this human, and he's watching the house, and he comes to the bus stop, and he sits down. There's this old woman, and we can tell she's kind of demonic because she has these like weird things growing out of her face. Her eyes are red. So this demonic old lady basically starts kind of whispering in this human's head about how he should break into the house, how he should kill the dad, how he'll have the weekend to do whatever he wants to the mom, and no one's going to be able to catch you. And basically the whispers work, and the human goes to the door and he kills the dad, he kills the mom. And I was like, okay, thank God he killed the mom, didn't do anything worse. And the old lady's like whispering, now all you got to do is kill the child. And the kid's like coming downstairs. He sees the body of his dad. He runs to go hide, and the human has no idea where the kid is. And then that's when the old woman is walking through the house, and she sees this demonic dog, wolf kind of looking creature. So Elliott was telling the truth. There is a dog walking in the walls. And the dog's owner shows up. And he's this Rasputin looking dude who's also demonic. So the boogeyman is living in this kid's basement. And the old woman is trying to make a deal. Like, hey, I didn't know that this house already had a boogeyman. If it did, I wouldn't have, trespassed. And boogeyman's like, well, now you know, get out. She's like, well, like just 2 more minutes. 2 more minutes and my host will have found the kid and we can harvest more little sisters than either of us need. And then I'll disappear, I promise. And boogeyman's like, no, get out. This is my last warning. Like, get out or you'll lose more than a good harvest. And so she rushes out. She sends a message to collect more boogeymen to come because we have like a traitor in the midst. And the human who's possessed, the killer, he's trying to look for the kid, and the boogeyman whispers in his ear, the back door just slammed, the kid's getting away, you can hear him crying for help, and the killer rushes out, go chase after the kid. And that's when the boogeyman picks up the phone and reports the murder and tells him to hurry up. And he goes down into the basement, opens up the cabinet, and Elliott is there crying and trying to hide. And he's like, do you know who I am? And Elliott says, the boogeyman. He's like, good. Follow me. I'm going to get you out of here. And there's more, but I'm going to leave it there. So it's really, really interesting. I really like the idea of a boogeyman protecting a child from other boogeymen. It reminds me very much of Imaginary Fiend, where it's like, imaginary character, imaginary friends, quote unquote friends. Protects the main character from other monsters, even when she's a monster herself. So that's kind of what we get here. We basically get a monster protecting a small boy from other monsters. And I'm like, all right, that sounds pretty cool. I like this idea. I like where this is going. Artwork is great. Like, I love this kind of style. Coloring is good. The writing itself is good too. Minus, again, the nitpick that I mentioned about the boy, his thoughts making him sound way older than he actually is. Other than that, when the boy's actually speaking and stuff like that, he sounds like a small child. It's just when we're seeing his thoughts that he sounds way too old. But other than that, yeah, this is a really good start to what seems to be a promising series. I'm hoping it continues to be good because I've been betrayed plenty of times where like an issue starts off really good and then just turns to garbage pretty quickly. But this is off to a really good start, and I'm really looking forward to where it goes. So yeah, that's the Boogeyman #1 by Ablaze. Go check it out. I recommend it. Hope you enjoyed. See you next time. Take care. Later. So what did you guys think of that video? I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys haven't already, please subscribe. Hit that bell for a notification. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video. And if you didn't enjoy the video, thank you for watching it this far. And I hope the next video is more to your liking. Feel free to check out the playlist that you guys see. And I hope to see you guys next time. Later.